Welcome everybody back to Arcanautus Ascent.
Yo.
So, last time we left off, our intrepid adventurers had uh descended the northern island of these Sigilgea Islands and ascended up into the forests, eventually coming upon a large circular area with four elemental sort of rings that blocked their entry or kind of slightly impeded in some forms here and there their entry to the hut of this elementalist, or what they would later learn was an entity that called itself the Contractor. This tall, long creature with four arms ending in claws that was completely dark and shadowy with two large red glowing eyes. That sort of was your goal, and you all ended up negotiating with the Contractor for the purification of the port, the removal of all poisons from the water of and demonic entities from the waters around the port of Arcanautus, or the main port of Arcanautus. This contract was agreed upon, and you traded the Contractor an onyx dog and the Staff of Awakening. The Contractor had asked for perhaps additional resources and would have allowed you to impose some restrictions upon their use of the Staff of Awakening, but in the end it was decided against this, as nobody wanted to give up Zen, Halo's sword, Siegfried, your giant multiplier salamander, or Shylvie, the flower upon your head. And so no restrictions were made. You were all granted safe passage via talismans to wear as you exit, and you all return to your ship. Your captain and the leader of the Slayers, for, legal purposes, I suppose, Captain Sebastian, congratulates you all on a fine outing and gathers you all for some ale in the subdeck. And as you all are enjoying or, waiting and recounting to the crew of your journey, you all hear in your head a voice, a message. It goes Shylvie, Zen, Siegfried, that you hear it in this order. A message from a voice that you recognize. It's Kay, the silver dragonborn robed figure that had introduced you, or that had sent you all on that nearly death-bound mission to rescue Anna from the kidnapping sea creatures that had taken her. Kay speaks into your minds. I'm back early. Heard you're doing well. We need to talk. Saltmire Manor. And that is the extent of the message. Technically, you all get the opportunity to speak an up to 25-word message back to Kay if you so wish to respond. Shylvie, you first.
All right, Kay. I'll get to you as soon as we get back to port.
Simple enough. Zen, do you say anything back?
Let Siegfried go first. I want to hear what he's
Sure. Siegfried, how do you respond?
Say this.
In your mind to Kay? You're not actually speaking, you're just saying it in your head.
It's still just nothing.
Cool. And then Zen.
Zen will say, we don't still catch a break, do we? Please just tell me the reward is worth it. And yeah, that's it.
Indeed. Zen, you hear in your head, or never mind, they wouldn't respond to that in particular, so don't worry about that for now. Okay, so you all have a day and a half of ship sailing that will be taking place, and I will just go ahead and roll.
You're attacked by 7 serpents. Rah!
Nothing in particular occurs as you all go about traveling and returning.
Actually, there is one thing that I'd like to do before we get particularly far. I'd like to use the spell Locate Object
Oh?
to see if I can detect any like magical metals in the area.
Of what area?
Like so I can let me
It's
just
1,000
double
feet.
check. Yeah, so I guess first would be like right before we like get on the boat, and then the next one would be like just a random time
Okay, so
as we're
along the
sailing.
shoreline, let me
Yeah.
pull up locate object real quick and see how specific it has to be. I think it can be general. Like, if you say locate iron, it'll find you veins of iron. Let's see. Describe or name an object that is familiar to you. You sense the direction to the object's location as long as the object is within 1,000 feet. If the object is in motion, you know its direction of movement. The spell can locate specific objects for you as long as you have seen it up close, within 30 feet, at least once. Alternatively, the spell can locate the nearest object of a particular kind, such as a certain kind of apparel, jewelry, furniture, tool, or weapon. The spell can't locate an object if any thickness of lead, even a thin sheet, blocks a direct path between you and the object. Okay, so we're going to have you kind of decide what type of metal you're looking for, because magical metal isn't quite specific enough for this spell.
Okay.
So you would have to say mithril or adamantine or iron or something along those lines.
Okay, well I have mithril, so I guess I'll say
Which I should probably
adamantine.
Okay.
Pocket should actually probably send you a piece of homebrew relating to that I made.
Oh, interesting.
okay.
Send it to me, DM it to me on Discord.
Will do.
One sec,
I'll do
sorry
it.
for the delay. Alright, so you're sending me that thing. Zen, you said adamantine. Huh. Interesting. 10%. Low is better. Unfortunately, as you cast the spell at the shoreline, you do not detect anything in particular. We'll say the next day, as you are going along the coastline, you cast it again. What are the odds? Well, it's 1 out of 100 are the odds, but did y'all see that?
Oh god.
See what?
Oh, Shylvie,
They're
are
all
you
really
on
close
Roll20?
on the
No, not yet.
Alright, I got 47 twice rolling a D100.
and the one before that was a 46.
Yeah, kind of weird. Anywho. Yeah, so that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. Can I... I just want to... Oh, no, never mind. We're good. Okay. Sorry. So, yeah, you all, Zen, unfortunately, you do not detect any adamantine within 1,000 feet of you for the 10 minutes, that you cast it each time. Sadly. Does anybody else want to do anything over the course of the day and a half, boat trip?
Shylvie is going to cast Sending.
Alrighty. Would you like to do this in the separate chat, or are you okay with doing it in this chat?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so we'll just stick it with this chat.
All right.
So, when will you be messaging Sia?
Evening.
Okay. So in the evening, you kind of sit down and get comfortable and prepare and cast your sending spell. What do you say?
With the deal, we purify. Um, well, the first one is just we made a deal with the contractor,
Uh-huh.
purified the water around Arcanautus, gave them an item that, while powerful, if they use it to harm, we can just ask the creature that made it to shut it off.
Okay, you don't get the full extent of that last message, but I'll say you can just always cast the spell again to get the rest of the message across.
I have 2 spell slots and there's
Exactly.
no real harm that day, so.
But you're able to get the gist of that message across. Sia responds, it's good to hear you didn't lose anything of immediate worry. We may need to keep an eye on if anything happens to the south. It's good to hear things went relatively well. Stay safe. And be careful. And that's just the general gist of what you hear. They, have expressed their concern for you and generally give you good tidings and hope that you continue to stay safe along your journey. No particular additional information is gained in this particular interaction, unless you were to ask further questions.
Nope, it's oversending, and it's just making sure that my half patron they're a patron.
Yeah.
Just making sure that they know everything that's going on.
Of course. They seem concerned for your well-being, but otherwise wish you good luck and seem unfazed by this exchange that occurred.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You all... Siegfried, are you going to do anything over the course of the boat trip?
I'm just gonna have the salamander go eat something.
Are you going to go fishing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Sweet. So you fish for a day and a half. Go ahead and roll a d20 plus your dexterity modifier for me. Roll it 3 times.
Big fish, no whammy.
All right. So in the first, half a day that you have, nothing really is biting. You get a couple of mackerel-looking creatures with like 6 fins, which are interesting. They're called 6-finned mackerel. That's cool. They're not too big. They're probably like between 6 and 8 inches long. You catch like 3 of those. The second day, something snags onto your line that is particularly noteworthy. Go ahead and roll an athletics check for me.
Mm-hmm.
Siegfried?
Oh, okay.
An athletics check. And you're able to actually haul up what appears to be a large, sort of eel-like creature with 2 rows of spikes along its back. And as it thrashes around, it seems extremely dangerous to keep this thing on the boat, but one of the crew members come over and spears it in the face, kind of pins it down until it bleeds out. And it is identified as what would the colloquialism be?
A spiny eel.
Nah, the sailors, this isn't it. The sailor would acknowledge this and be like, yeah, that's the sea hag's embrace. One sec, let me just write this down. They're awful creatures. Definitely don't want to be swimming in areas that they're in. They kill by constricting their prey with the spikes, and if it's terrestrial, they wait for it to drown. If it's not, they just thrash around until it's all torn to shreds. It's a pretty brutal creature these are, but they make for some fine jerky.
All right.
So yeah. So you're able to feed that to your multiplier salamander if you would like.
I'm probably gonna cut the spikes off first, though.
Okay. You gain 20 Sea Hag's Embrace spines. The spines are each about, like, between 2 to 4 inches long. Usually they range from about, like, half an inch thick to a little less than that. Some of them are more needle-like, some of them are more kind of toothy. Okay. Anyways. So, yes. And with that, I'll say your salamander consumes, but does not particularly grow from this meal in particular. And you all eventually return to port. The crew go about setting up the ship. Which was... One sec. Nalcott Saltmire, the first son of Ultimus, the one who had greeted you as you all exited, greets you all as you re-enter as well, and acknowledges Captain I almost did it again. Acknowledges Captain Sebastian as well, and heads onto the ship to check if everything's in order. And they begin actually. Nalcott calls over and is just like, "We need some cranes here. It seems they brought quite the bounty back." As you all do acknowledge the huge-ass shells of the pentapedal mini-levs that you had returned with. And the crew all begin to unload those, and Nalcott actually kind of smiles a bit and kind of gives you all a nod, and comes back down from the ship over to you all and speaks up. "I'm sure my father will be quite pleased with the results of your journey. Did you end up being successful on your mission as well?"
Yeah, the waters honestly should be fine by now, given what the contractor said. I had to give up something that I'm a little worried about, but I mean, we did our job, so I'll just let your father know, and hopefully he'll help us recover from the losses.
He seems to nod and acknowledge that you are speaking the truth, and says, "Indeed. It does seem that the waters have cleared, though they roil every so often in strange ways, but it hasn't harmed anyone yet. So it's a vast improvement. I'm sure my father will be very pleased." "All right, men. Get to it." And that he goes off and begins to direct the people as they are processing the haul that you got from the ship. You all head back up towards the Saltmire Manor and enter. A butler acknowledges you, the same one from before, and acknowledges Captain Sebastian, and mentions, "Captain Sebastian, the master would like to speak with you privately after he is done speaking to your crew. We will see you shortly. You may wait in your room." And Captain Sebastian is just like, "Okay, all right. I'll be in my room." And he kind of looks over at you all a little, like, nervous. and then sort of heads off towards apparently where his room is. We're gonna move everybody back over to the Saltmire Manor / mansion. Players, Saltmire Mansion. All right. The lizard has to wait outside, which it
Is
does.
it gonna be in the stables?
Well,
I don't think it should be in the stables. It might eat the horses.
Oh,
you-
it shouldn't be.
you leave.
But
How about this? You leave you can leave the salamander anywhere you want. You just have to command it not to eat anything.
that sounds unlikely.
Siegfried, you feel a tugging at the back of your mind as the guards are eyeing your salamander as it, approaches and the stables. And you feel in your gut they probably wouldn't miss a couple horses, honestly. You could probably pay them for it. You've got gold.
Right.
Sorry?
Well, if it does eat the horses, then I guess it just eats the horses.
Just tell it not to eat any humanoids. That's where the problem is.
I mean,
When it
if
starts
it does
eating
eat people, it eats people. That's
Oh no. Well, stay the stables are like over here or something. Or they wouldn't be by the manor, but you know what I mean. I'll just leave it outside. Anywho. You all return. And go to meet Ultimus in the same place as before. Captain Sydney is off in his room. And you all arrive here. Ultimus is seated at the head of the table, as he was before, and acknowledges you all with a nod, and doesn't stand up, but indicates towards the chairs that you were all in before to go sit. You can arrange yourselves as you see fit at the table. You can sit anywhere you want. He nods and acknowledges you all. I have heard some good things. Good things indeed. My son notified me that you all hauled in a couple of mini-lev shells, right?
Yeah, 2 full ones and one that has been sectioned off.
Those things have 1,000 gold bounty on each.
I also figured out how to make chowder from their remains.
Ah, now that's nice. I might have to have you make that for me sometime if you're so inclined.
I got very lucky with this recipe. I am not a very good cook. But I would be willing to give the recipe to your cooks so that they could probably improve it into something more refined.
Now that is a fun discovery. And he sort of does 2 claps, and from the kitchen to the side, a dwarven woman exits, her beard in one of those hairnet type things.
She has a beard?
Yes. She says, "Oh, what was that for?" And Ultimus acknowledges towards Shylvie and says, get a pen, get a notepad and parchment, or get a parchment and whatever the fuck people write with quill. Sorry. Record down the recipe that our slayer Shylvie here has discovered amongst their travels. You all each get, we'll say, if I can calculator. Oh, fucking duh, it's 1,000. You all get 1,000 gold each for the mini-lev shells that you have delivered. So you can write that down. I'll write it in chat. Yes. The those make for some fine additions in the crafting of water-based vehicles and equipment of that sort. The skin actually is shock resistant as well. It's very, very, very nice material, but a little bit too squeaky for common use, I've found. Now, for each of you, tell me what happened. I've seen that the waters have been purified. I've been notified by a member of the Coastline Health Conflux that their concerns have finally been addressed somehow, so I'm not being harassed by them anymore.
Good news.
Sorry?
I said good news.
Indeed. So I will have to not deal with them for longer, which is always good. My Sky Knights have not seen hide nor hair, or I should say scale nor fin, of any sea monsters in the past couple weeks. That's completely incorrect, sorry. In the past, 2 days. So this is rather promising. The waters seem to be free of this toxin that had been polluting them, and trade is back up in full force. Demand increased while the supplies were low, so once again, the gold flows. Not that it ever really stopped, but it flows more freely now, and I am all for the free movement of gold. I say free movement of gold, but you know what I mean, and not certain types of free. Anywho. Tell me, did these leviathans, or mini-leviathans, give you any trouble?
No, not really.
Their lightning attacks were definitely troublesome, that's for sure.
Those sort generate quite a lot of electricity within themselves. Some kind of... They don't have like a particular organ for it, it seems. It's a very strange, not very well understood mechanism, but they are rather dangerous, and I'm happy to see you were able to slay 3 of them all at once, supposedly. Do tell me about your interaction with this elementalist that you had been seeking, though. Tell me a little bit about them and what your experience was.
Well, according to them, their thing is they make deals. They make deals, essentially. They have access to a lot of power, and have in turn offered certain uses of said power in contracts. Not quite like a devil would. More along the lines of one, because with devil contracts, at least from what I've heard, you don't know the full connotations of the contract. Whereas with this, she lays them out in much, much plainer terms and doesn't tend to use. However, on the basics, we gave her a weapon that has gone primarily unused by all of us, and a magic item in trade. A magic item sentient in trade for them cleaning up the area surrounding us. It was a high cost, that magic item. The weapon in question was quite powerful, and it's a bit of a loss, but if it comes for a better future for the people, then we were all willing to make that change.
And that is always good to hear. Sacrifice that sounds appropriate given your now positions within this organization. Within this family, I might even say. I appreciate your sacrifice, to whatever extent it may have been. I will say, with this, you all have earned a significant amount of trust, and I feel that Arcanautus itself may owe you a bit of a debt. You were about to say something?
I was just going to reiterate the aspect of the object that we had to sacrifice in order for it to work. As my friend said, it was an object of high power, and it was something that we worked very hard to acquire. But luckily, it was something that the contractor had her eyes on, so it worked out that way. But it is, as my friend said, a decent loss.
That is, the way you phrase it concerns me ever so slightly, but it sounds like a future problem. Am I understanding this correctly?
It is a future problem that, in the situation that future problem is very big, I can ask a favor and make that problem not one.
Ha!
Hopefully.
And he points his finger and taps it now that is something I respect. All right. Excellent. Well, I have a special gift for you all for your success in this mission. Now, I don't do this often, but it just so happens that there are a couple of properties available, stretches of land both in and outside Arcanautus, that may be of a use for this organization, the Slayers, that I have created here. I would be willing to fund the construction of a new keep, or we could use one existing manor that is currently in the process of being repossessed from a gentleman who owed my family a little bit too much for a little bit too long. So, I give you all both the right and the availability via a subsidy from myself to acquire a keep. Either a keep to be constructed on the bounds of the city, or you could gain simply for completely free this manor from the noble that had wronged our family, I'll say. Do you all have a particular preference in any regard to that?
Do we get to keep the difference if we choose the existing keep?
If you were to choose the existing keep, I would grant you some additional gold. Not a massive amount, but it happens to come with the benefit of granting you all a place, a rightful place in the noble district, a place to call your own. Owning property within the district has its own set of benefits. And since you are working for me, you would not need to pay taxes on said property. Now isn't that grand? The keep would end up...
Sir,
Sorry?
I would like to make one point from a tactics perspective.
Yes.
With said property being at least you've implied to be the headquarters for the Slayers, would it not be best to have it as close to the water as possible?
And that is where the second option comes in. While in the Noble District, you would have easier access to the eastern port, I could understand if you all are more familiar with the western port and would prefer to have access there, or if I could even build something along the shoreline of the eastern port for you all there. It would take time, depending on what you all would like built, but you wouldn't gain any gold from that interaction, as it would require quite a bit of paperwork on my end, or the people who do paperwork for me on my end, and a rather significant investment that I may ask for a bit of a down payment on. But yes, you would be granted the land and the ability to speak to our architects and design your own keep. This would allow for a more unique, uh, more customized perspective on this base for the Slayers. You can either choose the convenience of being essentially next door up here, as well as having, a home within the Noble District, or you can exist outside. I will say, to build outside of Arcanautus itself, outside of our walls, would perhaps be less innately secure, as being by the water naturally is in this region. But, like you said, it would honestly practically make more sense, as well as you can increase your fortifications over time or build them to your specifications as needed. Now, I will be helping with the down payment on this, but any additions may need to come out of your pay, which, to be fair, I am also giving you anyways, so keep this in mind.
Are there any properties by like a lake?
There is a small park in the Noble District that has a lake.
No.
Hmm.
No.
No.
Honestly,
It is a common, kind of walking way for the people of the Noble District to, pass
Alright.
through and enjoy in their morning strolls with their children and families and pets.
Oh, pets.
okay, so
I know what you're thinking, and no.
In fact, actually, and he takes out from beside him a little map, and he actually rolls it out in front of you all, and he points to the house that he would be giving to you all, and then to the nearby park, and he's like, it's actually only about a block and a half, 2 blocks away from the home that is in the Noble District. And then you'd also,
that's a bad idea.
taking that option, you would also be granted the additional gold for any renovations you so desired. Or you can make the investment in the keep, and I will subsidize it to the extent that I can.
So I would ask the other two, do you guys feel the need to have a keep?
So, I, as the dungeon master, am now going to give you guys a thing. And that is a list. Let me just... sorry, so you continue your discussion as I get this information.
Okay, so I was just asking, like, do you guys feel like there's a need for a keep per se? Like, I get the aspect of I could have my own forge in there, which would be pretty sick, but like, honestly, I just want monies right now, because since we lost the since we traded away the the Staff of Awakening, I feel the need to try to get on that forging of a powerful weapon, potentially something that can act against the Staffs of Awakening or these other spires that we are facing. And for that, I need monies, and I need rare gems, and I just the keep is cool, but I think I need more
I'm just gonna type it in the chat.
non-property. That's 50,000 gold. Damn.
Yeah, which is why he would be subsidizing and not paying the whole thing.
Yeah, and also I don't like it. We obviously can't do the noble district one because Siegfried's gonna want to bring his lizard, his salamander, and that's not good news for anyone. And the keep would be would be useful for pretty much all those things, but he's saying that we'd also have to pay for part of it, and it's also gonna take a lot of time. I don't know.
No,
What do
he
you
said
guys think?
we'd have to pay for like the reinforcement or whatever.
He mentioned
Like,
that you would have to make a down payment on the keep that would be significantly subsidized by his own contribution. And he
So
tells you all outright. He says, I would cover a majority of the cost,
yeah.
putting down 35,000 gold. You all would have to come up with the rest between your savings and your pay.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
uh, I think
But
Siegfried would, so he has the place to like keep the salamander when
I don't think it's gonna be able to hold the salamander for much longer.
like any like items he gets, he just doesn't want to carry.
What do you think,
This is
Shove?
Also,
place.
there is I will say, owning this property will also make you guys, like, control a segment of land on Arcanautus as a side note, which is, like, I don't think you're understanding quite how valuable that is exactly. You would also have a place that people could send things for you to get. You could have a place to send people back to for purposes. You could have a place to do secret shit if you have secret shit you want to do. And there's also, you can, if you make a building, you can do literally whatever you want with it, like, that you are able to either pay for or provide the resources for.
Could also have minions.
Yeah, minions. Well, I mean, you have to pay them, but yes, minions.
I mean, depending on if we find some way to awaken the salamander.
We would need a druid for that, and also that's not a good idea.
You,
That is
as Shylvie, as you say this, you get the feeling, the contractor might be able to do that for you if you wanted.
but also that's an
That's
awful
Bad
idea.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Give the salamander intelligence, now that it's blood
yes.
bonded to Siegfried.
It would be smarter than Siegfried if you awakened it.
True.
Might have me eat people.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that's not a,
Or
that's
perhaps its machinations are beyond your comprehension.
I mean, it won't be smarter than me. It only brings it to 10. But still, like that's just dangerous. No, we gotta stop arming this goddamn salamander. It can already do so much. Giving it intelligence is not the right idea. Oh yeah. So what do you guys want to do? You want to do the keep? I mean, so is this keep our pay for what we just did? Like, is that
Well,
what's
yeah,
happening?
he'd be giving you a massive quantity of gold's worth of initial investment in towards a keep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say go with a keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be constructed over the course of a while.
Yeah, that's another thing.
But it'll be to your specifications, and you have time to think of things to add on, because like they'll start with the basic layout and design and everything, and then you guys can like within the next like month or whatever can like request specific like shit like add-ons and stuff.
How close to the water is it? Because like,
You could have it as close to the water as you want. It's you're gonna get you're literally gonna get a plot of land, a large swath of land. A swath is a better word. Like, you're gonna get a large swath of land on one of the coasts, whichever you choose to operate from.
Yeah.
And you can invest
Yeah, I
in, like,
don't-
building an additional pier, or you could just use the pier on whatever coast you build it on.
Yeah.
We should keep it away from the water.
Shylvie already is concocting one idea for it.
So I feel like I've given you guys that. How do you guys feel? Do you want to, like, out of game think about that shit for a while? Because I have other stuff that we can do instead of, like, stipulating on the keep for a while, unless you guys... I'll say, Ultimus even mentions, if you don't have your answer immediately, you can come back to me or send a word later in the day, and someone will get to me with it.
Yep.
Yes.
Sure, whatever.
I will
we're
deliver.
pretty much
I will have the keys to the noble's house delivered to you if you make that option. Otherwise, I will be writing out and signing off on the deed to the land of wherever you so please.
Alright.
All right.
Okay, well, we're just gonna say the keep, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll go with the keep. We'll figure out the rest later.
Indeed, and I will figure out all the, like, number shit regarding, like, oh, what is the acreage, how big's the building, like, all that shit. We'll do that over time, literally, because the keep is gonna get built over time, and I'm not super
It's gonna take like
familiar.
it would take like over a year.
I mean, yeah. It's gonna take a little over a year, in theory, unless something magically assists with its construction, yes. But then you'll have a keep forever, until it's destroyed by a sea monster.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, or a land monster, who knows? Or even a sky monster, maybe.
Or a salamander.
Or maybe the
Ooh.
monster was you guys all along.
Nope, it was the salamander.
It was the salamander.
We are monsters, and we are making a lair.
Nice. Oh yeah, and if you want it to be, like, in a giant island shaped like a skull, that's also an option. We are not limited to land here. You
I
can
say
make it
have
off.
on the shore and have certain chambers that are underwater.
Yeah, that sounds pretty lit. You guys make a list of requests for me, and then just forward that to me later, and, like, we can talk about the details and shit about that later. Just because it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
Eventually, after this next arc, there is gonna be a time skip, and you guys will have access to your keep. Just because having you guys wait, you know, how many sessions was the last couple days? Like 3 sessions. Having you guys wait 900 days or 900 sessions RIL doesn't seem super viable.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, Ultimus mentions to you all. All right. So are we thinking the keep then?
I guess so.
By the looks of it, yes.
All right. Well, there's no need to rush any of this business. Once you've delivered the what did I say was the number you guys owe? I think 15.
15,000.
You guys owe 15,000 gold.
Oh, you know what? I think Captain Sydney. I mean, damn it! Now I'm doing it.
Haha.
I feel like Captain Sebastian would be really good on that part. I think he'd be willing to cough it up from
Ultimus kind of puts his hand to his chin and sort of scratches it a little, scratches his goatee, and is like, yes, about Captain Sebastian.
Huh?
Captain Sebastian, I found, has not been entirely honest with me. So he is not going to be the acting captain of the Slayers anymore. We're going to see if he's going to be living anymore, depending on what he says to me after I have a chat with him in a little bit.
I see. Well, then, you could just use the gold that you paid him before. Just use that. There we go. Cool.
If his
All right,
life is
guys.
mine, his gold is mine.
Happy ending for everyone.
Except
I mean, depends on where his head ends up, but we'll see.
Not everyone. My character's gone so much darker. Plan.
Anywho, sorry. Ultimus acknowledges you all and says, "All right. Well, if you are able to deliver the gold, you are able to give what you are able to me now, and I'll hand off the deed to you once the 15,000 is done. I will have people begin preparing the land preemptively." Under the, if you all are to promise you would be able to grant me this gold within a month, or provide more value to Arcanautus that would prompt my own hand in favor of paying off the rest of it.
Siegfried's gonna hand him 5,000 right now.
Okay. Ah, yes. Very good, very good.
I don't have that. I spent pretty much all my gold prepping for the last trip.
Hey, it paid off. You lived.
What?
Yep. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep track of that. Very cool, very cool. Ultimus acknowledges this and mentions, if you continue to deliver, I will deliver the deed once the other 10,000 is done and through. That said, I wish you all a lovely day's rest. Feel free to rest up in your rooms here if you would like. They are still yours until you move out, upon which time I may look into finding some additional members for you, unless you all wish to recruit from within Arcanautus itself or beyond. I will say you three are now the acting leaders of the Slayers and currently the only members. So, with that said, I think, and he kind of like moves his shoulders a bit, kind of like stretches his muscles and sort of scratches the back of his head and nods his head towards the door behind him. My wife has a visitor for you all, and they want to speak to you, I suppose. I'm going to have myself some lunch. And he claps again, and the dwarven woman with the beard and the chef's hat comes out again and is just like, "Oh, is lunch on?" And Ultimus nods and is like, "Yes, lunch is on."
Out of game, did we get like a symbol or something?
You all did. We never
Yeah.
talked about the design, though.
I recommended it. Oh, you mean like what it looks like?
Yeah.
I recommend to be a salamander.
Okay, well, I have paint open right now, so talk to me. What are we looking at?
I mean, I have Zen's idea for his own, like, you know how like blacksmiths have their own symbol. I
Yeah.
had an idea for that. It was gonna be a spiral, with one side is a fairy's wing and one side's like an angel's, and then like a sword in the center. But I don't think that really gets off the Slayer aesthetic. So what if you can?
What do you guys think?
I think what the Saltmire dude said before is he wanted like a serpent with like
Yeah,
a sword stabbed into it.
I'm making a shitty rendition right now.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm now doing stuff off of my tablet, so I can draw without making
Tippity
click
tapping?
devices. Yes,
Nice.
I think.
That's a
Well,
that's a
let's check.
godsend.
Very cool.
Can you hear that?
No.
No, I did not hear it.
Yes. Speaking of which, I now kind of want to share a drawing that I did.
What about
One of you guys, the drawing.
what about a trident with a fish on the end of it? That.
There we go. File, save. as Slayer icon. I don't know where I saved it. Shit.
But
File
That's how we
save
do
as.
sometimes.
I saved it under documents like a crazy person. Okay, one sec. I'm gonna get X out of this. All right, let me upload your Slayer icon to the proper place. It's currently under documents. Cut. Or here, come on, work. Cut. Control X is also the shortcut for cut, right?
I know that Control C is copy and Control P is paste,
Cool.
but you got me with cut.
I think I'm good. I think I got it. I'll put it in the I'll put it in Roll20 just so you guys can see it. It's bad. I'll say that. First of all, it's bad. Oh, did it not? There it is. And bada bing. Whoop, fuck. There we go. This is kind of the gist of what I was thinking. Are you guys looking at your characters?
I see it.
Like this, but better.
Sure. I mean,
that looks
fine to
fine.
me. It could be a salamander. You could have the salamander be the thing being sad. Is that what you mean by
No,
Siegfried?
no. I think he would leave the group at that point.
I see.
Anywho.
So don't put legs on that lizard.
Yeah, so it's essentially, it's a dagger striking down into a sea serpent that is recoiling in pain. That is the basic gist of your icon.
Okay.
Or at least that is the one that you currently all have. It's a little emblem. It's the one that existed before you all came in to make suggestions and such. And by the way, merch for the Slayers is all subsidized, baby. You can get whatever merch made that you need. So as long as it's got the Slayers logo plastered on it, most of those things are gonna be subsidized.
All right.
So-
But instead of like a necklace or something, I'm gonna just have that tattooed on the Siegfried's shoulder.
Okay, and we are positive on that is the final design, right? Because if we're going for the tattoo angle, I mean, they could always erase it and change it, but they'd have to take the skin off and then heal it with a healer.
I mean, we can just say that.
Shylvie can do both of those things on her own.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really matter because we're not going to be actively looking at it. We could just say that whatever we decide is the final design is what we agreed upon right now.
Yeah, let's just go with that then.
Tattooed on them.
Yep, that sounds good.
All right. I'd like to ask Mr. Saltmeyer something before we head out.
Ultimus, but yes, and
Ultimus.
he says as he's sort of beginning to dig into what appears to be another roasted bird. Yes, what was that?
I am in the need of precious metals as well as precious gems. Do you have any idea where I can get those easily? Or maybe even a place it could be mine or something like that. I'm rather low on gold at the moment, so somewhere where I can acquire them through effort would probably be best.
Well, there's a jeweler in the district. If you're looking for jewels of particularly fine cut, that would be the person to look for. That is one Glittren Yaketh. That's what I'm saying. Glittren Yaketh. A gith that is the primary jeweler, or the at least best jeweler that I know, in the noble district.
Okay. What about the
As far as-
precious AK?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, all the papers from my DMG are like in the way. sorry, the metals. Ultimus sort of scratches his chin again and says, "What kind of metals exactly?" Because the smith works in the common metals and a few magical metals, although most of the good stuff we send over to the military on the southern island.
I see. I was specifically talking about that good.
I could specifically request pretty much anything if you're interested. Make it available for purchase.
Yes, that'd be nice if there's some sort of oh shoot, I can't remember the word. Just if it was an option, that'd be nice. If there was a chance for me to communicate with someone about what they might have.
Here, let me. You've seen my son as you all departed, yes?
Yeah.
If you are to notify, what's his name? Let me double check. If you all are to notify Nalcott or one of his assistants by the Eastern Docks of this request, I will make sure that Nalcott knows to advise any ships that are carrying such materials to stop by port at an allotted time that you so choose. Now, depending on the weather, on the convenience, and the location of said ships, it may take a while, but if they are available and they can make it in port, they will do so as soon as you need them and they are able to. But, of course, within reason, you must understand.
No, that's fair.
And as long as you can guarantee purchase if they are to make their trip. I don't want to be pulling trade vessels out of their routes for nothing.
I mean, if they have what I need, then I'll make sure to put the gold away for it.
That can be arranged beforehand, then, via a message that Nalcott is able to send and receive.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Noted. All right. I believe my wife is waiting with one of her friends in the other room. If you all are so interested, you can head in there now. I'm going to enjoy my bird. And he continues to dig into his bird. Would you all like to move into the next room where apparently his wife and a guest are waiting?
Which room?
Mm-hmm.
It's the room to the north of the one you're in. If you all want to move in there. Light piano music is playing as a young elven gentleman in similar attire to what you have seen from here, let me just here, it's gonna be the dwarf. It's gonna be the dwarf again. A young elven gentleman who just happens to look like a dwarf is playing some fine tunes on this piano. They appear to have some, to be wearing some kind of headwear, kind of this cloth band that sort of wraps tightly around both their eyes and their ears as they continue to play. You all enter the room and you see a familiar robed figure with the hood pulled back, revealing their frill that all Silver Dragonborn have. The slightly feminine, more or less thick-set jaw of the one you all know as Kay. The Silver Dragonborn who contacted you and you know works for the Saltmire family. They are standing up and having a quiet, pleasant conversation with an older woman whose description I'm about to pull up now. This, from what you all are aware of, is the matron of the Saltmire family. A woman terrifying to all who know her by her sheer cunning and efficiency. A common thing that may be said about this woman that, you know, gets passed around in, like, bars and such would be, a glare from Sinispa can stop a person's heart till she says it's allowed to beat again. She's a woman draped in fineries, although no one has ever made a tiara look more menacing. And you would know just from this is general knowledge of the area that she retains and manages most of the mercantile kind of aspects, or at least the numbers aspects of the Saltmeyer family. She is more together than her husband mentally, despite her age. And you all know she is not a woman to be trifled with, lest 10 generations of keen merchant's wrath come crashing down upon ye, is how I wrote it out. And so yes, you see this woman garbed in a black and white speckled dress, fanning herself gently with a similar black and white speckled fan, and with this tiara with the familiar Saltmeyer flower that is got instead of the typical like the brooch that you've seen on the men. The tiara has the flower in the center, and then the salt seems to be pouring out the sides of it in a or the salt being diamonds in this case, pouring out the sides of it, and that is her most notable feature. Besides her keen eyes that seem extremely sharp despite her age. She's fanning herself and quietly speaking to Kay. As you all enter the room, the piano continues unabated. Kay nods, finishes the sentence that she was saying, and turns to all of you, and holds out her arms and says, "Ah, it is good to see you all again. And she kind of looks you all up and down, and she says, I've heard, and I can clearly see that you all have been through quite a bit since our last meeting."
Something like that.
Oh dear, am I letting my third pupil slip again? And she shifts, and one of her pupils shifts slightly up.
Indeed. You've come a long way from me sending you off on suicide missions, huh?
Yeah, now it's the big man sending us off on them.
But isn't that how it always is? And she kind of turns towards, don't think I've said her, or yeah, Sinispa. She turns towards Benispa with a smile, and Sinispa sort of fans herself quietly and nods and gives a light chuckle. Kay sort of bows slightly and motions towards the woman sitting before you all and says, "This is my master, Sinispa Saltmeyer." And Sinispa stands herself. She's not a very tall woman, and she has an ever so slight hunch with her age, although she tries her best not to show it. And she acknowledges you all with a nod, looks intently, deeply into each of your eyes. All of you make a wisdom saving throw. As her eyes lock onto you and you make eye contact with her.
Is she gonna glare at Siegfried? I really want her to glare at Siegfried.
She gives a pretty intense stare to each of you.
Nat one.
Cool. You all immediately understand the gravity of this woman's power and are you are scared of this woman. You think, you thought you were scared of Ultimus when he was getting, upset. This woman looks like she has never gotten upset in her life, but all of her problems have been solved one way or another. You get this feeling in the back of your head, and you are genuinely scared of this relatively short old woman who holds herself oh so professionally. She speaks up, and her voice is light but weathered. "Ah, yes. So these are my husband's new toys that he's throwing around. I hope you all aren't, doing anything untoward in the Saltmeyer name, now are you?"
Absolutely not.
Good. That's what I like to hear. She folds up the fan, points towards Kay, who straightens up at the motion. Kay here, who is giving you all another assignment. I've felt that the balance of things is beginning to tip, despite the, admittedly, and I will acknowledge this, wonderful work you all did with the fixing of the water in the western docks. Things have become... And she looks over towards Kay, and Kay sort of, like, makes a little bit of a kind of halfway hand motion. You know, the, like, so-so hand motion. Complicated, to say the least. Unstable, at worst. I'm going to take my leave for the day. It was a pleasure meeting each of you. Siegfried, Zen, Shylvie. And she turns and, Zen, actually, she walks straight past you, and you, as she walks past you, you just, lock up. And when she finally exits the room and closes the door, you all, and you even see Kay, lower their shoulders. The only one who didn't, have a physical reaction to her being in the room was the young, elven gentleman with his eyes and ears covered by the, cloth, who's playing the piano. Kay kind of shakes her head a little bit and rubs her temple. Whew. All right, everybody. So, I have an assignment for you all. Believe it or not. And I can't promise this one won't also possibly get you killed. But, the rewards... Well, I'll just come outright. You'll have her favor. Now, I don't know if you all understand the gravity of what that means, but that's essentially the same as having a genie grant you a wish. So, keeping that in mind. So, I've returned early from my trip to the Subsea Kingdom.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Good.
Oh dear, indeed. I noticed a couple of problems in my visit. I personally went and remained undetected, or at least unacknowledged. And, I was able to discover a couple of interesting happenings, goings-on. People are disappearing, denizens of the Subsea Kingdom, vanishing in the night. I wasn't able to determine who is stealing them or where they are going, although the patterns that I recognized of one victim that I happened to observe the day before indicated that they were, in fact, members of the religious sect that is attempting to awaken the slumbering serpent. And you all kind of hear rattling from the walls as the paintings in the other room also hear that phrase, and Kay kind of puts her hand to her forehead and is just like, oh, of course. The big thing. Besides that, bright squids, which are these irritating magical creatures that, and she looks over at the pianist, kind of waits a second, and they continue, they're continuing to play. They didn't stop, but she waits until they begin to crescendo, in this particular piece they're doing, and she states to you all, the bright squids happened to produce a substance known as, and I'm pulling this up now again as well. It's N or something. One sec. Anaresin. A substance known as anaresin, which is this yellow glowing, it naturally congeals into an orb-like shape. Substance, sort of startles people and keeps them awake, for long periods of time. Apparently, they were supposedly a weapon that was deployed against the Subsea Kingdom in the past by the people of Arcanautus, that developed into its own species, invasive species, that is now on the rise after their population had been culled several years back. So that is concerning. Some folks are having trouble sleeping lately. I myself had to experience this for a while, and boy oh boy, if I wasn't used to working for 72 hours in a row, it would have really, really sucked. Let me just say that. And then, one sec, there's one more thing that I'm forgetting. Yeah, it's the big one. And she noted, and I was able to do some investigating into military matters. They have been launching several more patrols than is expected and standard towards the Slumbering One's trench. Supposedly, rumor has it, to fend off some demonic entities that are beginning to emerge from it. Corrupted creatures that are natural to the rift, but unnatural in their current state. It seems things are bad in that regard. I wasn't able to get additional information in the time that I had, as my cover was beginning to slip. The head priest of the primary temple of the Slumbering Serpent within the city happened to observe me at one of their sermons, and they looked at me in a way that I recognize as somebody seeing through something. I left that afternoon. I was pursued by some mysterious entity, something similar, in fact, to what you all had observed after the explosion of the Blue Scuttler. Some sea life, in this case much larger than a shark, with some mechanical enhancements to it.
Did it have a fin?
No, it was a large octopus of sorts, I suppose a squid, really. It had attempted to sink my vessel, but fortunately we had specific countermeasures to such a attack and were able to thoroughly annihilate it with... And she nods towards Zen, that secret weapon that I had mentioned before.
The one that was 100,000 gold?
You better damn well believe it's worth that much, or at least it's worth that much to me, given that it saved my ass on my trip.
Wait. So is this not like a melee weapon? That sounds like a cannon. Is it a cannon?
It's a magical object that does a thing. I can't reveal any details about it beyond that, because they are a very important secret that I shouldn't even be thinking about right now, frankly, although I know we're in good company. And she, again, nods towards the blinded and deafened pianist.
Alright, well, I'm still interested, but if it's not like a thing I can, like a one-handed weapon that I can like hold.
Perhaps you will
like,
see it
swing.
if we ever go on another trip. I cannot take my ship because my ship was attacked and thus is definitely recognized by whoever is in charge of such a creature. I'm requesting you, my lovely subordinates here, to assist with what? What, is that a problem?
I thought we were a part of the Are you part of the Slayers?
No, and she holds up the ring, and she indicates that it is not the same icon as yours. Instead of a dagger crashing down, it is a claw crashing over. Was it a serpent or a ship? I forget. No, it was a claw crashing over a wave, I think.
Say, Kay, you wouldn't happen to have gotten the names of some of
Key figures.
the, well, also just civilians.
Hmm? Oh, that's interesting. I got a few names of some folks that I was in contact with. Well, let me give you the key figures first here.
All right. Could you write them down on a little list for me, just so that I
Will
can keep them?
do. Will do, I say as the DM.
Yes.
Alright.
Thank you.
First, there is Flynn Marin. Flynn Marin, the head priest of the Church of the Slumbering Serpent. And he is a fish folk, who appears to have the head of a dolphin.
Okay, now here's my question to you. Would this person come off as a fish-like person or a person-like fish?
I apologize. It would not be the head of a dolphin, because dolphins are mammals and breathe air. No, this he would not have the head of a dolphin. One sec. Let me just
I'm gonna go get some food while you do this.
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna make the list, and I'll just yeah.
Anyway, yeah, my Shylvie, her shapeshifting does include her voice box.
Oh, cool.
No, that's actually. She may be able to imitate the tone of voice that the slumbering serpent uses.
Actually, let me say octopus. He has an octopus head.
I see.
With this in mind, she may
seems
be
fine.
able to fabricate visions from it using the sending spell once she has people's names.
Interesting. All right. How long are you gonna be, if I might ask? Should I pause the recording?
They're already gone.
They're already gone.
You heard how echoey
All right.
it
Well,
was.
I here. I'll continue to list the things off. So Flynn Marin, head priest of the Church of the Slumbering Serpent, is a fish folk with an octopus head, and the answer was more man than fish, as you have seen. Of course, the only ones you've seen have been, ripped. So it's a little probably more awkward than they are in their natural state. And then next up would be the Teyun Drown Town. There we go.
Drown Town?
Teyun Drown Town, who is
Take you to Drown Town.
is
Yes.
a shopkeep that Kay interacted with frequently, and was able to help her gain access to things that she might not otherwise have access to while on a spying mission. Basically, it was essentially a fence for her while she kind of was in town. She was like Teyun Drowntown is a Triton. A Triton gentleman who runs a general shop. And is friendly to Kay specifically. And then who else would be important? Shylvie had asked for some general townsfolk. Besides Teyun, she had met one sort of drifter, a Kuatoa that had only one eye.
Well, there's an enemy.
Whose nickname was just Glubby.
That's nickname's been used already.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Glubberson.
Well, Glub Glub is completely different.
But someone called him Glubby.
In that case, his name is not Glub. You know how many goddamn people are named Joe?
Yeah, but that's gonna get confusing, just like the whole Sydney and Sebastian
right.
thing.
You're right. Fine. His name is One-Eyed Wally. Actually, One-Eye Walleye, right? Because that's a fish, right?
I've never heard of
Yes.
a walleye before.
The fish, yes.
Nicknamed One-Eye Walleye. Yes, perfection. A drifter who lives in the kelp district.
Just saying this, guys. Zen is not looking forward to visiting this kingdom.
Man, it's just full of fucking fish people, dude. Like, let me tell you, Zen is not super keen on this.
No. No, his
I'm sorry that my campaign is completely centered upon the political intrigue between a kingdom that exists on a bunch of islands and one that's literally underwater, and that your character developed a hatred for fish folk.
This diplomacy time.
Yeah, here, I'll post this in the Roll20 just so everybody can see it, and then I'll post it in, what's it called? I'll post it in the Discord so that we have it a little better.
All right.
So yeah, we'll say those are three. She gives you a couple other names, but I will get to those later. Those are the important ones for now. One of them is the main creature of interest, which is Flynn Marin, which is the fish folk with the octopus head. There's Teum Drowntown, which is the general shopkeep that Kay interacted with, who's friendly to Kay. And for Shylvie, there was a Kuatoa with one eye named One-Eye Walleye, who was a drifter who lives in the Kelp District. And so those are kind of the names that you guys remember off the top of your head. You'll have to recall the other ones later. I'll have to make up the other ones later.
whatever.
Yeah. Anywho. So yeah, she gives you this information, and she mentions, now, I'd like to wait a little while before sending out another expedition. I'd say probably... we want it to be at least a week. So that would mean that you would all have to leave in about 3 days if you were to all take a standard sailing vessel. Your route... So there are options for your route, I will say. So, if you all would join me on the Roll20. Shylvie, are you available again?
Yep.
Okay.
Although I've got toast.
Cool. We're hopping over to... Oh, look, we have the old icons on this page. Let me grab the new icons. Including the salamander. Can't forget the salamander.
Can the salamander breathe underwater?
I believe it's amphibious? I'm not sure.
Yeah, most amphibians, including salamanders,
Are
can
amphibious?
breathe through their skin.
Yeah.
But is it okay in salt water?
It's a magical creature. I've said that it's fine.
Okay. Is Kay like? I know you're setting up right now, but is Kay like still instructing us on stuff?
You can interrupt. Because Kay is sort of Kay pulls out a map and begins to sort of look around it and sort of is trying to figure out the best route for you guys right now. And she's kind of speaking just like, so I suppose there's a couple routes you could take, some longer than others, some more dangerous than others. Well, they're all dangerous. This is the Sigilgea Islands. So
I now have two. But I now have two halos.
Oh, I did flip that shit at some point. Well, there. I'm sorry.
No, second halo.
GG. Anywho, yeah. So you were going to speak up, I believe.
I was just gonna say, if we're gonna head to the Fish People Kingdom, we're gonna need supplies and things for the. We can't. I point to Siegfried and myself. We can't. We're not really swimmers, and also, if we get in some trouble and have to fight, we're not. We're not set up for that. So we're gonna need some help in regards to that. Also, I'm personally in need of a lot of precious gems right now for this other. Oh shit! I forgot to talk to Mr. Saltmeyer about the the ultimate weapon project.
Oh,
You can speak to him at a later date.
I was gonna
about
say
that.
he's eating in the other room, so I mean you could just stick your head in real quick.
I'll wait
My
till
man
after
eat
this.
his bird.
I'll wait till we're done with this part,
Okay,
and
cool,
I'll
cool.
just do exactly that.
So yes, Kay acknowledges and says, since you will be acting as new arrivals to the area, depending on the type of reputation you will be creating for yourselves, I may be able to give you one of these. And she holds up her hand with the ring, and she says, now, let me pull up the statistics for such a thing, because it is... she says, I could have forged for you by the time you leave some rings. I wouldn't have them bearing my crest. They would be blank signet rings that the crest could be added after the successful completion of this mission, particularly depending on how you all go about completing it. If you make a bad reputation for yourselves in the Subsea Kingdom, or if you are being hunted, I'd rather not include you in the organization I am a part of. She mentions, the armor I wear is enchanted with a specific enchantment for the members of my organization. I could grant such an enchantment on your on blank signet rings that I could then have properly emblazoned with the crest of... And she kind of eyes back over to the piano playing elf, and then eyes back to you all. The Shadow Sinkers, otherwise known as the Claws of the Saltmeyers. This is the organization that has existed for decades, I say at this point. Supposedly it existed before even then, but was not associated with the Saltmeyers specifically until a deal was arranged many, many years back, and that's beyond my time, so I don't care much about it. Did you guys catch all that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Shylvie will say, "Thank you for the kind offer, but I am this place that we're heading to is where I was born."
Oh, this was more towards us that can't breathe underwater.
Oh, right. So, right. Sorry.
And she chuckles ever so slightly and acknowledges Shylvie and says, I understand that you have a personal interest in the area and that you may encounter some things down there that may upset you or potentially, and she kind of raises her eyebrows, may potentially sway your allegiance, which would be bad, to say the least.
Don't worry, we can we'll bring salt with us. Got it.
There's a lot of salt in the ocean, I'm sure you'll be fine. Oh, by the way, speaking of salt, avoid the fucking brine pools, you'll die. Just as a side note, if you notice a lake under the ocean of this sort of slightly whitish, kind of crusty sort of water, and there's a bunch of dead crabs and stuff around it, don't fucking touch it, you'll just die.
Is that towards all of us or just Shylvie?
No, all of you, especially Shylvie, though. It'll just suck all the moisture out of you and boil you alive instantly. It's kind of crazy. So anyways, that's just that's a bonus tip. That's a little extra something for you to think about as you descend, when you go to eventually descend.
I don't want to go.
Note to self: remove fake remove finger and toss it into one to see what happens.
Yeah. It's just the brine, avoid the brine pools is the note.
Yeah.
And anyways, she mentions now with gaining access to my organization, you would be gaining access to a global network. I personally am a member of the Claws of the Saltmires, although the Shadow Sinkers exist outside of just Arcanautus itself. Our matron knows this, and she utilizes us for plenty of information gathering and missions of a more delicate or specific variety. If something needs to be removed, we are the quill that crosses it from the books. In this case, I think... Sorry?
So you destroy information and kill people?
Can't hear you, bud.
Yeah, you're a little quiet there.
Alright. Yep. I'll get my headset back on.
You were saying?
So you destroy information and kill people.
You're gonna have to speak up.
Sorry.
You destroy information and kill people that are proving to be problems.
To put it that way is to simplify it, but the simplified, I'd say that about covers it.
If you could you like increase your volume a little bit too? Because I was not really able to hear what you said.
Sorry, I'll figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I have you at max on Discord myself.
Okay.
So, anywho,
I'll turn
yes.
up the sensitivity setting.
She mentions that yes, I will grant you rings that will allow you to move easily through the water, to fight with your own abilities, and she nods towards Siegfried and Zen with efficiency, as well as perhaps grant you all a little bit more a silent movement than you otherwise might produce. Although many things from the deep may not rely on vision as much, moving silently always has its benefits. This is the gift that I will grant you as part of the assignment, and in the hopes that I could have you all specifically either, and you have choices here, kill that priest that saw me. Alright, that's option number 1. That would be a success. That would be a successful assignment. If that priest dies, and people think it's either an accident, or some unrelated, unprovoked attack, or like he got eaten by a shark or something,
Or a salamander.
or say a giant salamander, an unaffiliated giant salamander, that would be fantastic. Alternatively, and Shylvie, this may be more in your wheelhouse, if you were all able to investigate further, and perhaps supplant or subverse the directives of this. He's not a lunatic, he knows what he speaks, and he believes in what he speaks, but it is unhealthy and dangerous for the people of for the people of the Subsea Kingdom to be following his words. Awakening the slumbering serpent is not in anyone's best interest. He does not believe this to be true, and has deluded himself into believing that it will instead be their salvation to raise this angry god creature from the sea. Grumpy might be a better word, given that it's pleasantly resting now, supposedly. Additionally,
Well, not
those
presently.
demons might be problematic, although if you're able to solve that problem, I'd straight up call you all heroes, and I would make sure that you get the recognition you deserve through whatever channels I can. That, however, may be too dangerous. The Slumbering One's trench is not gone into by anybody from the Subsea Kingdom. The head priest has never been down there. I have never been down there. The king and queen have never been down there. Nobody goes down there except for maybe one squad from the military doing patrols that delve slightly deeper, and that squad replaces members relatively frequently. And the insane Kuatoa that have a temple directly on the edge of the trench. Watch out for that place. They make the kelp fight people. And skewer any folks who come within the region on the spikes of their weird little temple as apparently, supposedly, an offering to the guardian of the trench. Ah, yes, guardian of the trench. Very important. Very big. Imagine the biggest thing you've ever seen. Probably that Deep Titan? Bigger. Much, much, much bigger than that. Almost unfathomably large. It is the size of a city. And as long as... Not as long as the trench. That's ludicrous. But it feels like that. And its maw expands out probably 150 feet in each direction when fully expanded. It is non-existent, to say the least, if one is to ever interact with the Guardian of the Trench. I will say, the Guardian does not patrol the area closest to the trench to the Subsea Kingdom itself, but if you are to travel along or deep into the trench, you may come across... Let's just say if you see any yellow lights... Well, you're going to see a few yellow lights from the goddamn bright squids everywhere, but if you see several large yellow lights in a row that are not coming from the bottom of the trench, but anywhere else in the trench, then you should evacuate the area as quickly as possible. That said, that's only if you are brazen enough or insane enough to actually delve into said trench. That said, the city, as long as you all behave yourselves, you should be treated with, you two, I will admit, a bit of suspicion, but...
That's racist.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately.
Says the growing racist.
Oh boy. But,
You literally said you hate fish people.
Oh boy.
That's... Hey, I have the right to, they keep trying to kill me. They don't even know me. So that makes it wrong. Also,
Murder is bad.
You think the bright squid thing might have something to do with, they keep you awake, slumbering serpent puts you to sleep,
It was a metaphorical attack as well as a practical one, from what I've heard, the legends tell.
I see. All right.
Sort of an ironic punishment of sorts, I think.
Is Deborah or was Deborah a part of the Sinkers?
No, Deborah is an adventurer. She is unaffiliated by her own choice from any organizations in particular besides that Coastline Health Conflux that she loves so much.
Oh, that's broken. That got broken.
She has her own priorities, and it seems like, she has her own things going on. I've not interacted directly with her much, but she's done me one job in the past that she was relatively successful at, but not successful enough to let me trust her to the extent that I trust you all at this point. By the way, I don't know if you all have gone down back to the Western Port at all yet, but they've been partying for the past couple days. Just saying. You all might want to get down there and snag some special seafood or snacks or play some games or whatever they are doing down there still. I hear the Waves Crash is giving out ale for free to anybody who is able to beat Crasher Wave in an arm wrestling contest. That's been interesting to see. Lots of broken bones, lots of healing happening in there. That's always fun.
Oh dear, if somebody eventually wins, I'm probably going to have to break up that bar fight.
Indeed,
I still live there,
indeed.
you know.
Ah, of course, yes. That said, do any of you have any questions regarding this assignment? Like I said, I'll be procuring a vessel for you all in the next 3 days that you'll be able to use. I'd recommend that you leave as quickly as possible after that, but if you need to delay, you are able to, as there is no significant time crunch outside the one of the inevitable issue that will be coming up from this religion, this, I should say, religious sect that is rising in power, and doesn't seem to be being dissuaded. It seems to be being just accepted that it's there and part of it. They don't seem to want to do anything about it. I was just down there for about half a week, little more. Did anyone have any questions?
I guess not. I guess we'll just play it by ear. That's pretty much all we've done. Everything else, and feed the guy to the salamander. Pretty much like how we do everything.
That sounds like a pretty decent idea, honestly. As long as you can keep the salamander unaffiliated from yourselves, then you are almost golden. Honestly,
Do you know,
sorry?
do you know any way that we could perhaps, while we're there, shrink the salamander so it's tiny? So in a situation where it's a little, we can use it as a stealth type of thing. So we can just return it to its size, so that it can then eat the guy.
Curious.
Might I recommend a bag of holding?
That would kill it eventually.
I can provide for
Also,
you
it
all a
wouldn't
bag of...
fit.
I can provide for you all 2 bags of holding. That is not a concern. That is standard equipment.
Water.
Sorry?
I
Fill it
paid
with water. Fill it with water and it'll be fine.
No, that's not how that works.
I mean, it wouldn't be getting new air. It's like a fish tank without the filter on. They don't get oxygenated.
And this whole time you've been talking about the salamander, Siegfried's been holding his sword.
Why?
Yeah.
You mentioned the salamander dying.
I will say, Kay mentions I could find something for you to help with that. I don't know if it'll be a long-lasting sort of shrink, but I could make it an instantaneous sort of... I know of magics that are able to shrink a creature for a temporary period of time. That could... I could see if I could look into getting perhaps a wand that could cast this spell without anyone needing to prepare it. That is something I could look into for you. Do you have any other particular requests? I'll be giving you 2 bags of holding and the aforementioned wand.
Damn, I went and bought a bag of holding for nothing.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I was saying 2 bags of holding because I thought you guys didn't have one.
No, I bought one.
All right, you have one, so then
in
she could
preparation.
provide 1 additional bag of holding.
Sorry, guys. Fucked it up.
No, it was you were supposed to have 2 total bags of holding after this interaction. Is my intent.
Okay, so something that would help us. She's already giving having. Are we gonna have to attune to these rings that are going to give us the ability to breathe the water?
I believe. One sec. Let me double check.
Because we're all at max
Don't do
attunement.
that. I'm gonna double check real quick. Does it require attunement? Come on, give me the answer, you son of a gun.
if you tell me the name,
So
of
how
it, I
did
can
that-
look it up.
It doesn't say it requires attunement, so I'm gonna say no.
All right, cool. Uh,
Yeah, otherwise, if they had to remove it and attach it quickly, it wouldn't be convenient.
yeah, I can't.
Yeah. As a side note, the enchantment is called Shadow Sinker just for convenience, and basically the creature wearing it has advantage on stealth checks, moves silently, and gains a 40-foot swim speed.
And that it's being up underwater.
Sorry?
I didn't hear that. You said gives advantage stealth, move silently, gains a swim speed, and does it give you the ability to breathe underwater?
I realize that it does not. One sec. That's stupid. Alright. So, we're gonna say the creature has advantage on... Fine. I will say... Gains +2 to stealth checks. Or, you know what? Has advantage on stealth checks underwater. This is a lot of enchantments. One sec.
I'm gonna just be honest. The stealth part probably isn't that important.
Yeah.
Siegfried isn't stealthy, and he's gonna be half the time most likely riding the salamander.
This creature moves
So-
silently, can breathe underwater. And gains a 40-foot swim speed. There we go. I changed it. And I'm going to copy and paste that into the chat so that I can't accidentally change it at any point. Okay. Moves silently, can breathe underwater, and gains a 40-foot swim speed, no attunement. Yeah. It is their valuable magical items, but she acknowledges this, and she's just like, we're pouring quite a few resources into making this work for you folks.
We
Personally-
can't breathe underwater.
I know. What I'm saying is I believe in you all. And despite what you may feel from the matron herself, from what I've said at least, she seems to believe in you all as well. I really do have a good feeling about what you all can do for us here. Did you have any other questions?
Not at the moment, no.
Nope.
All right. Well, I'll take my leave then. You can stop playing. And the elven gentleman, the young elven man, stops playing and cracks his fingers and removes their blindfold and puts it in their breast pocket.
I thought he was deaf.
They turn towards you, and you see eyes, white with apparent blindness, and curiously, it seems to make eye contact with all of you, smiles, nods, and then vanishes in a swirl of smoke after making a little hand motion.
Is that a ghost?
No. Kay chuckles a little bit as you say this, Zen, and she says, no, that was one of my compatriots. That's E.
So you all go by letters. I see. So he would be S, and
Sorry?
she would be S, and I would be Z. I see.
We could figure out some abbreviations for you at some point, yes.
And this would and Halo would be H, And salamander would be J. Yes, no, I understand.
Yes, exactly. It is that is how our whole organization is actually organized. You figured us out.
You must have so few members considering the amount of alphabet.
There's a bit of a local sort of preference for naming preferences. It's code names, of
Ah,
course. We have several,
okay.
but the letters tend to be the most brief, and easiest to remember for most.
I see. All right, I'm gonna go talk to Ultimus about the
Uh,
Ultimate Weapon project.
Zen, you stick your head back into the dining room, and you see Ultimus is just sort of kind of wiping his mouth and sort of finishing up what appears to be a bird of some sort that was fried. Delicious. Oh, Zen. Yes, did you need something else?
Yes, sir. I apologize for interrupting. I just remembered that something had slipped my mind before. I wanted to. I was. It, I think I might have a way to create very powerful weapons that we would be able to use against the sea monster.
Oh, do tell. Oh, that is
I'm
interesting.
I'm aware of a certain manufacturing process for weapons. And
Oh.
given the right resources, I should be able to, with time, develop them, and we should be able to give them at least to a limited amount of forces to face off against the sea monsters to give us an extra edge on the awful beast.
You're speaking my language, boy. Yeah, give me details.
So um it really comes down to the forging process of it all and the proper use of the magical properties that are present in the the metals used with them, the magic contained in the flame, as well
Indeed,
as
indeed.
the space at which it's being created itself. It's all about that as well as the technique put into it.
All
And
right,
I
all
have
right.
a good idea in mind for what to do. It's just that considering it would be a fairly large project, especially if I'm going to try to reproduce it
You
for
okay,
the
buddy?
forces.
Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry.
Okay.
I,
Sorry.
as a simple blacksmith slash monster slayer, uh, can't really handle that on my own, especially when it comes to the resources. So I was wondering if it was possible that, as maybe a side or a subsection of the slayers, to be created for the we can call it something like the I'll leave naming to you, sir. You seem to be a lot better at it. But a
The ultimate
subsection,
weapon project. The OOP.
the oop, yes, great, genius. So yes, does that sound like something you would be interested in, sir?
The prospect is extremely appealing, and the abbreviation makes me chuckle. I see no problem with this. Shall I, Now, what is the plan exactly? If we're going to be hiring people to work on a project, I don't exactly want to pour resources without a plan. Do you have any sort of designs to share? Any blueprints?
I could give you some, but I think rather than pooling a lot of resources into recruiting people first, it might be a better idea to try to produce one of these such a prototype per se
All
that
right.
that can at least be used to show you what it is I'm going for.
All right. All right. I'm listening.
So all I need is some time and the proper resources, and I should be able to at least produce a prototype. It would most likely have to wait until after I return from this next mission that I've been sent on. But
Next mission?
I do. Yes, your wife and her friend have asked us to go do something, which I can assure you
And he
will
kind of
end
like
up with a.
he puts down his fork and his spoon, and he's just like slowly gets up from his chair and he looks at you and he's just like, just a moment, and he meanders off out of the room and down the hall. A servant comes forth. A finely dressed servant comes forth and clears the plate and everything. And you're
Oh,
just kind of
God.
left awkwardly standing in the doorway.
I've said one word too many. I see.
You hear, all of you hear distant, raised voices, or one, I should say, distant raised voice, followed by a span of what may be silence or someone quietly speaking, followed by another bout of raised voice speaking, followed by a silence, followed by heavy footsteps down some stairs, and then, Ultimus re-enters the room, and he's pouting, and he says, "Of course, whatever needs to be done to keep things running smoothly."
Oh, sir, you don't seem happy about this. I thought you'd love to hear that we're gonna be out on a mission that will definitely ensure us not only killing sea monsters, but also handling some of those slumbering serpent cultists that bother the safety of Arcanautus so much.
Come here, boy. He kind of like leans towards you and grabs you by the scruff and pulls you in ever so slightly, and he lowers his voice.
I don't like
Listen
this.
to me. If you are able to kill the Guardian of the Trench or the Serpent itself, Arcanautus is yours. And he pushes you back and kind of like stands back a bit and says, "So, keep that in mind on your mission, all right?"
Yes, sir.
Don't tell my wife I said that. She'd be pissed.
I don't expect to be talking to her ever.
And he chuckles at that. He's just like, "Oh, I wish."
Okay, sir. Well, is that a yes to my proposal?
Yes, the OOP project. I'll, like I said, if you let me know what resources you'd need, I can see about getting them accessible to you. If you need a space to work in, well, you're going to have one of those soon, and I can also commission, or you can commission work. How about this? I'm placing you in charge of the project.
Oh, okay.
How much gold
And,
do you
yeah,
think you'd need for a budget for this?
Would I be able to get back to you? I can go get some quotes.
How about
And-
this? And he exits the room. Back in a moment. Comes back with a couple of slips. And these are fine, lovely slips with some lovely the saltmire kind of salt flowers on the embroidery on the edges of it. And he hands 3 of them off to you. And he says, "Any number you write on these is going to be coming out of the account for the OOP project. How's that sound?"
Thank you, sir. I will use them well.
And now, if you fuck me on this, you're going in the salt vat. You realize that, right?
I mean, I don't plan to, and that does not sound fun. So,
Well, it's
no
fun for those
worries.
watching, but for the one in it, no, it is not.
Sir, yes, sir.
That's what I like to hear. And he kind of pats you on the shoulder. And he's like, Another round of game hen. I'm feeling birdie today. And the dwarven woman comes out. It's just like, we run out of the little ones. You want one of the dyers? And he's just like, ooh, I haven't had one of those in a while. Yes, yes. And you see the dwarven woman enter the kitchen and then exit with a heavy crossbow. And it's just like, all right, back in a little bit. She holds it over her shoulder and exits the building.
I see. They're very fresh.
Only the freshest. Anywho, I think that's a good place to end this scene. Unless anybody has anything else to do in the Saltmire Manor.
Whoa, what has the salamander done?
Okay. As you all go to exit, you hear...
so defeated.
You hear a little stable boy screaming, "Oh God! Oh no! He ate lightning! Oh God! Lightning! Why?" And you see, yeah, oh yeah.
I'm gone.
Yep. Anywho, Zen fucking bolts. Siegfried, you feel sated. Shylvie, are you doing anything in particular currently?
Nah, Shylvie has already headed downtown.
Excellent. All right. Siegfried, as you approach the stables, you do see that there appears to be one less horse than when you had originally arrived. And the salamander has taken up one of the slots. It is kind of... You see the wood creaking against it as it seems to have sort of pushed itself back into the spot, sort of claiming the spot for its own. Its tail almost kind of folded up towards itself to fit into the spot. And it's sort of just sitting there, resting in the shade, seemingly satisfied. Meanwhile, the stable boy is just like, got his hands on his head and he's just shaking his head just like, why'd it have to be lightning?
He's gonna walk up to the boy and stand over and put his finger over his mouth like saying shush.
Why? Is this your salamander?
Why does he sound like Tiny Tim?
Mister, is this your salamander?
Siegfried nods his head yes.
What? Why'd you let it eat lightning?
I'm gonna pick up the boy with one hand.
You're able to easily do so. He is a boy.
I'm gonna walk over to the salamander.
Okay,
No.
you do so. No, God, oh no! Ah! And the boy is crying out. You see a couple of the guards from the border of the.
I was there. I wish I was there to stop
You see a couple of the salt guard from the entrance that can see this happening from there, kind of begin to quickly walk over. You hear them shouting out, "Oi, oi!" And as the boy is crying out and just like lashing out against you and stuff.
They'll put him down.
Okay, you put him down in front of the salamander.
Snitches get eaten.
I'm gonna have the boy roll a dexterity saving throw as the salamander lunges forward.
I'm gonna go save him. I'm gonna grab him away.
All right. You go to grab him away, and you do so, and the salamander actually stops halfway, and is just like, and you feel in your head, I mean, would it really be that bad? You feel in your head.
Would it be that bad?
As you're considering this, the guards run over to you and grab the boy out of your arms and kind of push you back, or attempt to push you back. You're a pretty stocky man. And they're just like, "Oi, leave the boy alone. He's gone through enough today."
Okay, now I'm gonna point at one of them.
Yeah, what of it?
No.
I'm gonna point at the salamander's mouth.
He just kind of shakes his head, and they kind of the other one takes the boy and kind of wanders off and says, You work for the salt mines, we look over certain things, but you can't go murdering people on our property. Thank you very much. Now leave.
Siegfried, what the fuck? Just what the fuck?
And it ate him
what
from
happened
the
to the
butt! And
nose?
you hear the boy screaming as the guard is pulling him away. And it ate him from the back to the front! He was yelling the whole time! How did none of you hear it? It was horrible! The Whittian!
Siegfried, what happened to the no kids rule?
Anyways,
we
the
had a
child is
deal.
scarred, and the salamander is sated.
Fine with him.
Oh,
That's
of course,
not
of course,
cool,
of course.
Man.
As a side note, Siegfried, you do acknowledge that the salamander followed your wishes when you realized you didn't want the kid to die. So that is comforting, if anything.
Alright.
The fact that it went to go eat him in the first place is a little discomforting, and you don't know how that would have gone if you weren't there for any longer.
I mean, apparently I thought it wasn't gonna be that bad, so.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Anywho, Siegfried, do you hop on your salamander and head on out?
Mm.
Sorry?
Yeah.
I
Excellent.
regret so much.
With that, Shylvie, you're already downtown. You see several shops have their doors wide open. People are going in and out and about town. Some folks are lighting off. You see kids lighting off little like sparklers or like various things. They're like you notice you run by some kids who are tossing fruit at each other, and you try not to get caught in the crossfire. Several mothers are trying to wrangle up said children with, certain degrees of success. You see one getting pulled by his ear, but others are fleeing and free. You see several sailors are kind of doing that drunk walk, kind of arm-in-arm line around as they all swing their ale mugs around and are sort of day drinking super heavily.
Goddamn
as
day drinkers.
as everyone does in this town. It's in the lore now. So yeah, there's just a lot of fun festivities. People have hung up a couple of festive little banners of small sorts. You see a lot of little blue bannerets around hanging from here and there, with a little A in the bottom corner if you observe closely enough. It's kids waving around these blue banners and everything. But yeah, so that's the festivities are still, people still seem to be in high spirits now that the docks are purified. Is everybody returning where? Are we heading to the Waves Crash?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I will want to go back to the Noble District later, though.
Ah, yes, for the Artificer or whatever.
Yeah, and also we have that mini-leb skin that I was gonna try to sell to the blacksmith. Shit.
We can roll that outside of the game, and I can just tell you how much it's worth, okay?
Alright. I also wanted them to make that armor I was talking to you about before.
Was it the mini-lev armor, the electric resistant armor?
Yeah, I wanted to try to make some electric resistant, like, leather armor.
Yeah, you could get studded leather that's electric resistant.
Yeah.
And
I'll
it wouldn't be magic, it'd just be the material it's made out of, so it could also be enchanted later if need be.
Yeah, that was gonna be what I was gonna try to do.
Okay, cool. So noted for future reference. Just keep that in the back of your head, okay?
Will do. Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll talk about the details of that outside the game. Anyways, you all enter the Waves Crash. Siegfried, where do you put the fucking salamander? By the way, Siegfried, as the salamander is coming through town, everybody clears the way and sort of moves out of its way in its wake. As the salamander is a known entity, and you actually see a little boy like, Mommy, it's the big lizard again! Can I go play with it? And the woman is like, No, my child, please do not. But Mommy, look, the man is riding it! Can I go ride the salamander? Child, please, go to your room. You don't want to end up like your brother.
At this point, he's gotten bigger and angrier. He'll gobble you up like the little bean that you are. Now go play somewhere else. All right?
Oh God! And the little tyke runs off and runs away. And the mother is just like, "Thank you," and she follows quickly after the child.
Siegfried, remember this: kids are not allowed. Adults, sure. Teens, maybe.
If
It
they're
depends
dicks.
on how annoying the yeah, exactly. But no kids. Kids are off limits.
Oh goodness.
We have standards here.
Will you folks be returning to the waves crash?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Sure, why not?
Yes.
You all.
Is there a
Sorry.
stable spot open?
I mean, there's a stable,
No,
and there's a
don't do it.
giant ass salamander, and those
Is there
two
any
things.
spots left?
I mean, your salamander kind of fits in a stable a little bit.
We have we have the stable our horses are at.
So,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Kevin and Morsel.
You could have somebody watch the salamander. Again,
That-
as a reminder, Siegfried, you can give the salamander commands that it is naturally inclined to follow because of the sigil.
I want to
you-
command it too much. That's
I don't think you've commanded it once. I think you've reacted to it doing things. Oh no, you've commanded it before. Never mind.
It's hard to determine who's the master in this situation. I'm kidding. It's the salamander.
Uh-huh.
well, since the salamander, can it just like fall onto the roof? Is the roof like?
I
sturdy
would
enough to-
heavily advise against putting the 1,000-something pound salamander on the roof.
Right. Okay.
Also, it wouldn't be able to really climb up. It's not particularly adept at climbing anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just have someone watch it.
Okay, cool. You pay off the stable hand to watch your giant salamander. It's like, hey, all right, Gov, I'll watch him, no problem. By the way, all children in this town are British until they reach the age of 16.
It makes me want to feed them to the salamander more.
I know, I'm sorry. But anyways,
No kids.
you all enter, and as you do, the crowd waves up, "Hey!" as you hear the crash of a large burly gentleman falling out of a chair, and as you see the anglerfish-headed gentleman fall to the ground and Crasher Wave raise up his belt in the air. Yeah! Undefeated! Ugh.
All right. Siegfried's gonna point at Crasher Wave. Like it's his turn.
Oh ho ho ho! We got a new competitor! Come on up! And Crasher Wave gets down, gets his arm ready, and it's just like, I haven't gotten to flex the muscles in a while. I think it's time you and I went head to head here, friend.
All right.
Alright, 3 successes or 3 failures. Whatever happens, and it's a competition, so whatever happens first is gonna determine the victor. Crasher Wave is proficient in this. Okay.
I'm quite proficient in our.
Let's say he gets that much. Alright.
These straight rolls or
They are athletics checks. You are making competing athletics checks, so roll 1 die.
athletics +4.
All right. As you are coming to this, Crasher Wave sort of is kind of going easing into it, but then he begins to push, and the pressure is building, and you see him sort of grinning at you. He does have his mask on with the sort of wave pattern across his eyes that comes out into the waves that stick out from the side of the mask, and he's just like, come on now, you can do better than that, boy! Roll again. And your arm is halfway down, and Crasher Wave is pressing it in, and he's like, come on, press your advantage, boy, you can do it, I believe in you. Roll 1 more time, friend. And you kind of get it back to center, and Crasher Wave just like, whew, all right, keep it coming, man. One more, come on. Ah! And Crasher Wave is able to pull, and down it goes to the table. He raises his hand up, and sort of it gives you a nod and is just like, ah! Nice try. Better luck next time, my friend. Go get a beer. And he points over to the bar, and there's one of the masked wrestler one of the other kind of waiters is tending bar, and they sort of wave over to you, and they slide an ale in your direction.
I head over. I'm like, I'm not gonna let you punk my teammate like that. Let's go.
Okay. All right, competitor number 2. Let's go. Zen, I believe. Who said it first?
Yeah, it was Zen.
No, it was Zen. Did Shylvie say they were gonna do it?
I was confused because I thought I heard Shylvie for a second, which would have been crazy. Anyways, okay, so
you know what? As a joke, Shylvie's going to.
Okay. Shylvie will do you last. Zen, you're up first. Well, just because Zen called it out, if that's okay. Zen, roll an athletics check. This is a skill check, so you have to win 3 times. As you begin to press and press, again, athletics, not acrobatics.
Yeah. I'm
shit.
proficient in athletics.
That'll do it. And you sort of, you're with the natural 20, you actually get him halfway down immediately. And he's just like, whoa, all right, okay, didn't expect the fight from you, little guy. All right, bring it on. I'm going to count that as 2 successes, because it is a natural 20. All right, roll again, my friend. Ooh, let's see. Motherfuck. As Crasher Wave sort of is, come on. And Zen is able to just get his wrist to tap down onto the table, and he lets it go down the rest of the way as he's just like, I cannot believe. All right. Here you go. And he hands his belt over to you and is just like, that's yours for the day, buddy. Oh, this guy gets free drinks all day.
Got strong forearms. It's from all the hammering,
Of course. Oh, and he kind of rubs his shoulder and is just like, you might say I'm getting too old for this, but I've been doing this for hours. I could do this all day. Hey, Shylvie, you look like you wanted to go. Do you want to try?
I know I'll lose.
Excellent. And Crasher Wave gets out of his seat and points to the seat. Go on, fight the champ.
Oh, I see. This is my life now?
Yeah, boy! At least for the day.
Alright.
Alright, roll competing athletics checks, motherfuckers. It's a skill challenge. Whoever gets 3 failures or 3 successes first wins or loses.
Alright, let me just check my athletics, because I have a weird ability.
It has like a plus 18.
Shylvie's hand. You know how Shylvie can move their mass? They just move all their mass to their arm and just fucking...
I don't know how Zen would feel about that. I don't think Zen has ever touched Shylvie. I don't think Zen wants to touch Shylvie.
Come to think of it, what does Shylvie even feel like?
Like, I picture Shylvie as like a living jello. And their skin is like jello skin. Also, I won the first one.
All right, you sort of grip onto Shylvie's hand, and your fingers kind of sink in a little bit. It's a bit awkward, but you're able to push Shylvie's hand pretty far down, or their hand pretty far down as the first round concludes. Keep going, man. All right, Shylvie's able to bring it back to center, and sort of here, one sec. Shylvie's able to bring it back to center. Next. Ooh, shit. Shit. As I established before, a natural 20 counts as 2 successes. This means that
Damn.
Shylvie straight up wins, and they do that thing that... Alright, Shylvie, do you have a particular method by which you win, or is...
Shylvie slides her entire head down her arm and bites down on his hand as she face plants.
Oh, yeah, fucking that's legit. I'm sure that's totally cool. But also it works. As Zen, you feel your hand splatter down beneath Shylvie's now head arm as the head retreats back up their body. And Garashka Wave is just like, some non-traditional anatomy. I don't know how I feel about that, but, I mean, his hand's on the table.
I turn to Wave and say, I feel disgusted.
I know.
That's
Welcome to the club. Here, let's get a drink. And he pulls you over to the bar.
drink.
Oh yeah. Also, Shylvie touches a spot like right on his cheekbone where there's just like a tiny flake of her skin still there.
Oh no.
On my face?
Yes.
Halo, protect me. Swat it away, Halo. Swat it away.
Halo kind of gently scrapes the bit of fleck off.
Shylvie grabs it.
The flake or Halo?
No, the flake.
Okay, cool. You absorb it back into your body.
I'm going to not so slowly back away.
Cool. Pardon my saying, I kind of feel like that's almost a good place to end it. I mean, how are you guys feeling right now?
I still want to do the
Sleepy.
artificer thing.
And Shylvie, what'd you say?
Sleepy.
Yeah, me too. All right, so, there, I'll say,
I'll drop out from here.
Sorry?
I'll drop out from here.
I will say, if you hang out for like probably 10, 15 more minutes, I can do the artificer scene with all of you if you'd like, because it is relevant. Would you join in this outing, or would you allow Zen and Siegfried, or even perhaps just Zen, to deal with the artificer?
Yeah, Shylvie would probably let them deal with that.
All right, in
She's
that case...
not terribly interested in killing
Gotcha.
the slumbering serpent. In fact, she thinks it's a generally bad idea, given
Side
the
note,
context that she's gotten.
Zen, you are the only one who heard that specific submission from Ultimus. Did you end up sharing it with the crew?
Probably not. I have no intention to do that.
Please keep in mind that while you all did not hear it directly from Ultimus, you could make assumptions based on his preferences, but you did not hear what Zen had heard regarding what Ultimus had declared. Keep this in
But
mind.
yeah, Zen's gonna make sure he to the utmost that he's gonna stay as far away as possible from the giant creature that is the size of a city. That's also a sea monster. He doesn't like sea monsters.
Yeah. That's mouth
So-
was like 150 feet wide or something like that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably fun for the first bit before it closes. It's like a water slide, like, whee! Oh, it's dark. Oh, what is this feeling? Oh, teeth. Cool. Sorry,
I
anyway.
don't even feel teeth because it's so
Anyways.
big.
Anyway, I'm gonna hop out now.
Alright, you're gonna dip
Thanks
Shylvie.
for
I'll do a
touching
quick
base.
scene with the Artificer with Siegfried and Zen, and then we'll pretty much call it for the night. Good night, Shylvie.
All right. Good night.
Alright, Siegfried, Zen. You all eventually, after reveling and getting drunk on day drinking, return to the Sky Knight's tower to speak with the Artificer. A Sky Knight atop a griffin greets you at the entrance. The griffin and the Sky Knight both bow as you both enter, and they acknowledge the Slayer's icons that adorn you both. As you both enter, you are guided to the floor of the Artificer. As you enter this, the entire floor is essentially a giant workshop lab. You see several mechanical apparati hanging from the sky. There's a wall that's just full of things that look like wing jetpacks. On the other side, there's a couple of different weapons on display with, like, different, like, engines and, like, various, like, Tesla coils attached. And in the back, you see along the back wall, broken into segments, is that giant centipede mechanical thing spread out on several different workstations. And in the center of the room, contained within a sort of central glass tube with little bits of electricity arcing off of it, is that obsidian, 7-foot obsidian spike.
Is it still in one piece?
That is still in one piece, yes. With the crack along it. You see in the back of the workshop various artificers at their work, but you are pointed to the back of the workshop towards, and let me get the description. An Aarakocra. Come on.
So he had like metal wings, right?
A blind, white, brown, and black feathered Aarakocra wearing a series of clockwork contraptions inlaid with spiraling silver runes, such as a mechanical monocle and the folded up metal wings that adorn his back. As you begin to head back and you eventually acknowledge them, they introduce themselves as Al-Numir. Al-Numir.
So he's an
Al-Numir.
owl? He's an owl, Aarakocra?
No, the typical, standard-beaked, more eagle-looking, Aarakocra.
I see.
And he acknowledges your presence. He doesn't look directly at you. With the monocle, yes, he looks directly at you and acknowledges. Hello. How can I help you today?
Hi. My name's Zen. You may have heard a report from the Saltmeyers. I'm in for two things. One, to lay my claim on the spire over there. And two, I thought you'd be interested in these. And I would take out the Minilev lightning networks.
Oh, yes. That's very good. I can make some pretty fun things with this. You harvested it so well. Well, I could work with this. What's your angle?
If you're willing to offer up, I'm looking in particular for magical metals or something along those lines. I'd be willing to trade for something of around equal value for the networks and the spire. Well, I'm planning on using that with weapon crafting as the focus in regards to the spire.
One sec.
I'd also take gold if he has no way to give me the metals. I'll also take gold.
One sec. I'm trying to look for a magic item that I know exists, but I can't find it. Whatever, I'll just tell you what he finds. He acknowledges for you and he says, So, you're saying the lightning network there, and what else? And he points back over your shoulder towards the glass container. The spire?
Oh no, that's not for it. That's already mine. I'm just taking that. I'm just
sort of tilts his head.
Collecting it.
Perhaps I should explain something. He fingers. He points you over to one of the segments of the centipede robot that had fallen out of the deep titan that y'all had helped slay. And he points specifically to about a keg size, like a beer keg sized, ale keg sized capsule, that is like cracked open, and like half of it is on the table and half of it is still in, and it is like black and melted metal. And you see two like spikes, metal spikes that are pointing out into the center of it. He explains, this capsule was connected to the spire. Whatever was in it was destroyed when the centipede was killed. Must have been a failsafe for keeping whatever was inside hidden or secret. It was manipulating, I think. I guess, but I hope a good one. Manipulating the rod over there. The spire. The spire, as you see, and he points, see, arcs out lightning every so often. Little dangerous when active. We are still testing, but might be okay to give away now. Inactive mostly. Source of power, and he motions towards the capsule, or at least manipulation, mostly gone? If it's yours, it's yours. But, are you sure? Sure?
What does he mean by am I sure? What is sure of what?
Can't we keep it?
I mean, I'm willing to share part of it. I'd be willing to a degree split it. But
Split?
for my plans, this material might be useful. Can I use the arcane loop on it, on the spire?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make an investigation or an arcana check with advantage. Do you have a preference?
Let's go with arcana.
Okay.
I believe the +4. Big oofs.
Wow, big oof. The text that you see that circles around as you are investigating is almost like garbage words. But you do see the word, anchor. And that's basically all you get out of that. It is an anchor
Alright,
of
so-
some sort. But you
Okay,
kind of
so
already
it's-
knew that.
Yeah. Okay, so it does have the same. Well, I mean, yeah, I already knew that. Well, okay,
Well,
but yeah.
that's all you see from that arcana check in particular, and that's the only word you're able to glean from the loop's notes. The Aarakocra, comes over to you and kind of scritches his beak a little bit and observes you use the loop, and he kind of raises up one of his hands, and it's just like, I like that. That's nice piece. Nice piece.
Thanks. Well, besides that, so if you'd like to try to split the spire, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not a greedy person per se, so I'd be fine with as long as we can try to preserve its ability. I'm fine with trying to split it.
He kind of wrings his hands a little bit. Break might destroy properties. I don't think it's such a good idea to split it apart. Perhaps we could just let you borrow it for a while?
I mean, in order to use it for what I want to use it for, I'm going to have to Just the spire is not. I need parts. I need pieces of it. So
Uh,
yeah.
Go ahead and roll
Also, it's not.
persuasion for me.
I'd also like to point out it's not borrow. It's mine.
Uh-huh. He has probably at this point been notified about the OOP project. And he acknowledges this and he kind of nods his head slightly and it's just like, all right, all right. Kelly. Lower the shield. And this kind of human girl sort of just like blows a bubble from some bubble gum she was chewing and it's just like, all right. And she just kind of pulls a lever down and you see the glass cylinder sort of lower down. The lightning that was arcing out of the spire continues ever so slightly, although less explicit. The artificer mentions Ahelnumir mentions it is a little more active than it was before. Not sure why, but it might be staticky.
Fine. So I guess I'll just walk over and put it in my bag of holding.
Okay, you go to
For now.
touch it, and
That's
it
fine.
zaps you. You take 3 lightning damage.
That's fine. I saw that coming.
Uh-huh.
That happened with the other one. So,
Okay, and
and I'll tell him.
it is pointed on each end.
Okay.
And do you
I'm
attempt
gonna-
to put it in the bag of holding?
Oh,
This
because it can
7
carry
foot
it?
long pointed spire on each end.
I mean, it's
Also, to get the bag of holding around the center part is a bit of a stretch. It's kind of thick, but you might be able to do it.
all right. Well, here's what I say. All right, so I'm gonna like pull it over to like an open area.
Uh-huh.
So maybe on like a podium zone. I'll be like, Siegfried, you're up.
They clear a spot for you.
All right, what do you want me to do?
It's time to do it. Break stuff. Break it.
All right, I guess I'm just gonna hit it with the sword.
Okay, go ahead and roll to attack. You see, the Aarakocra sort of, leaning over to one of, like, he's going over to a couple of the assistants and he's whispering to their ears something and he's, like, running around and, like, they're collecting up a couple of notes and, like, compiling them, it seems, and trying to, like, preserve any information that they actually did have on the thing as you go and swing your sword down. That was a 15 to hit. Your sword bounces off of the material. You didn't quite get a good hit on that one. The lightning does arc out, and you do take 1 point of lightning damage.
Okay, I'm gonna swing again.
Okay, swing again. All right. You bounce off again, and it does arc off, and you do take 3 lightning damage as the metal seems to like course with electricity as you slam your sword down on it. You can try again.
Activate
Halo.
rage.
All right. Your rage is
as the-
activated.
As the activates rage, I'm gonna shout, Halo, you too.
I'm gonna reckless attack.
Okay, you have advantage on this roll. And I'll say Halo is helping you, so fuck it, roll 3 times and take the highest because we're doing crazy shit tonight, apparently.
It's still 15. Why am I rolling so low?
Cool. Halo clinks off a spot and the lightning arcs out towards Halo, who takes, I guess, 1 point of lightning damage. And your sword, it crashes down onto it and bounces off harmlessly.
This is getting ridiculous.
Just roll a d20 for me, real quick.
Me or him?
Siegfried. Cool. You go at this for about an hour. And you just can't fucking get through it. This is fucking impossible.
Every single one of my rolls today have just been trash.
It's okay, buddy. But yeah, you have not scratched the surface of this pillar outside of the initial crack that it had in it from the battle.
So one Halo skewered it.
Yep.
I see. So we're being done by this rock right now.
And some of the lab assistants, like, they're all just kind of watching you all for like 10 minutes, and then 20 minutes, a couple of them leave and go back to work. 30 minutes, a couple of them sort of like grab some snacks from the side and are just kind of watching Siegfried as like the metal sparks off of the obsidian and arcs of electricity. Also, Siegfried, take 20 lightning damage for me over the course of the fucking hour that you're doing this.
I just give him, what's it called?
You heal him?
Yeah, with the, wow, I can't remember what they're called. Good berries.
Yeah, you heal him that much with the good berries, so he's fine.
Is my sword okay?
Your sword is it magical or non-magical?
It's magical.
It's +1.
Then yeah, your sword's fine. If it was non-magical, it would be getting dented by this, but no, your sword is magical and thus is not suffering that effect. What was that for, Zen?
I just wanted to see what would have happened if Halo was to attack it.
Halo is able to pierce into the crack ever so slightly and twist, cracking the thing directly in half. You now have two 3.5 foot long segments of the larger spire of Obsidian Spire.
Okay, does it still... Can we... I guess this is the time for
you notice that the lightning
to come out.
Stops being produced. It lets off a big electrical burst, which Halo takes a little damage, but not enough to knock him out. And then the lightning dies down and goes away.
Is it just gone permanently? Can I try
You're
to
not
observe
sure.
it with the loop again?
You examine it with the loop. Go ahead and roll again for me. Make this one an investigation, if that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same.
Yeah, all right, so then fuck it. You have determined that this item has been temporarily disabled due to the damage it's sustained. You get the feeling it's a similar effect to how it kind of, like, became less effective after it was cracked after the battle. It's kind of a similar situation. But perhaps slightly worse, because it is now cracked in half.
Mm.
You see, everybody, a couple, as this, beam is cracked in half, a couple kind of just pity claps come through like, woo, you did it. And the Arrow Croaker actually comes over to you both and it's just like, so, I guess it's yours? Yours? Right?
Well, you can take the other, like I said, I'm sharing here, so you guys can take the other half. I'm gonna see if I can find a way to reactivate it while it's still separate like this. So when I use it for the smaller portions, it can still hold some kind of effect.
All right, cool. You have a 3.5 foot segment of the Obsidian Spire. Yep. It is, what I say, like 7 inches thick, about 7-8 inches thick, up to a foot at the widest point, which is where you broke it. So it's kind of a tapered sort of diamond shape, long diamond shape. So yeah, you are able to successfully harvest a segment of the Obsidian Spire. It's currently not having its magical effect, but that may change either over time or if something prompts it to.
Okay.
All right. I think with that successful separation, after an hour of Siegfried just getting zapped and eating a good berry after each zap, we're going to call that for the night, my friends. All right.
Awesome.
So we can discuss things about the keep, about what you do with this, and about what everybody does in their downtime, their 3 days of downtime between this session and next. All right. Have a beautiful night, everybody.
Night.